I bought the house because it was cheap, far too cheap for a place this big. Looking back, that should have been the first red flag. The real estate agent, a woman named Carol who seemed so friendly over the phone, refused to even step inside. She stood on the edge of the driveway, her smile strained, and just handed me the keys. Her car was gone before I even got the front door unlocked. The house seemed completely normal during the day. Bright, almost cheerful. The walls were a crisp white. The windows were clean. And the neighborhood was one of those quiet, sleepy places where nothing ever happens. I spent the first day unpacking, picturing my new life here. A fresh start. It was only when the sun went down that the house started to show its true colors. The first night, I was lying in bed, trying to fall asleep, when I heard it. Footsteps, coming from the floor directly above my bedroom. Slow, deliberate steps pacing back and forth. But that was impossible. I lived alone. My heart started hammering against my ribs. I grabbed a heavy flashlight from my nightstand and crept upstairs. I checked every single room, my light beam cutting through the darkness. The master bedroom, the spare room, the bathroom, nothing. Not a soul. Just empty rooms filled with unpacked boxes. I told myself it was just the house settling, old pipes, my imagination running wild. I went back to bed, but I didn't sleep much. Then, at exactly 3:17 a.m., every single light in the house flickered on. Simultaneously. Every room, every hallway, every closet. I jolted upright, blinded by the sudden brightness. I got up again, my fear now mixed with a growing sense of dread, and walked through the house, turning off each light one by one. That's when I noticed the hallway. The main hallway that connects the living room to the bedrooms. It felt longer. I know that sounds crazy, but I swear it stretched as I walked down it. The end seemed to move further away with every step I took. I felt like I was walking on a treadmill, trapped in a space that was actively working against me. And the mirrors, they were even worse. I have a large mirror in the entryway, and when I glanced at my reflection, it was wrong. My reflection moved a fraction of a second too late. I'd raise my hand, and the person in the mirror would wait just a moment before copying me. It was subtle, so subtle you'd think you were imagining it. But I wasn't. My own reflection was lagging behind, watching me with a delay that was absolutely chilling. The second night was a repeat of the first. Footsteps, lights at 3:17 a.m., the sense that the house was playing tricks on my mind. I was exhausted, running on pure adrenaline and caffeine. By the third night, I was determined to find the source of the sounds. I decided to start in the basement. It was a dark, musty space I had barely glanced at during the day. Concrete floors, stone walls, the usual. But as my flashlight beam swept across the far wall, it landed on something that made my blood run cold. A door, a small, wooden door set into the stone. And I was absolutely certain, with every fiber of my being, that it hadn't been there before. I had explored this basement. I knew it. This door had no handle, no hinges that I could see. Its surface was covered in scratches. Not animal scratches. These were human. Deep, desperate gouges that looked like someone had been trying to claw their way out. As I leaned closer, I heard something from the other side, whispers. Faint, but undeniable. And the most terrifying part, they sounded like my own voice. Distorted, frantic whispers, repeating my name over and over again. At that same moment, the entire house started to creak and groan around me. It wasn't the sound of an old house settling. It was rhythmic, like the slow, deep breaths of a massive, sleeping creature. The house felt awake. It was conscious. I stumbled back up the stairs. My mind reeling, that's when I saw the photos, hanging on the walls of the hallway, where there had been nothing but blank space before. Dozens of them. They were pictures of me, sleeping in my bed. reading on the couch, making coffee in the kitchen. Candid shots taken when I was completely unaware. Someone, or something, had been watching me, documenting my every move inside my own home. Panic finally set in. Real, blinding panic. I had to get out. I ran to the front door, fumbling with the lock, but it wouldn't turn. It was jammed solid. I threw my shoulder against it, again and again, but it was like trying to break down a wall of solid steel. I raced to the windows, hoping to smash one and climb out. But when I looked through the glass, I didn't see my quiet street. I saw rooms. Unfamiliar, impossible rooms that shouldn't exist. A long, dark corridor lined with weeping statues. A nursery with an empty rocking chair moving on its own. A library where books were flying off the shelves. The house was changing its shape, trapping me inside its shifting, nightmarish architecture. Desperate, I turned back from the window, and my eyes caught something carved into the drywall. The letters were jagged, as if scratched with a fingernail. It was a message. It said, "This house remembers." And in that instant, I understood the horrifying truth. The cheap price, the agent who wouldn't come inside, the strange occurrences. This house wasn't just haunted. It was a predator. It fed on the people who lived here. It absorbed them. Every owner before me never moved out. They didn't sell the house. They became a part of it. The whispers, the footsteps, the delayed reflection. They were the remnants of past victims, trapped within the walls forever. I was next. The house had chosen me, and it was slowly digesting me into its very structure. That night, for the first time, the house went completely silent. No footsteps, no whispers, just a heavy, oppressive silence that was more terrifying than any noise. I could feel the walls closing in, the air growing thick and heavy. It felt like I was being embraced by cold, unforgiving arms. I am a part of the house now, one of many. So if you ever find yourself passing by my old neighborhood and see a big, lonely house at the end of the street, you might notice the lights are on, even though no one has lived there for years. And if you dare to get close, if you stand by the fence and listen very, very carefully, you might just hear someone walking inside, pacing the upstairs floor, waiting for the next person to call this place home. Thanks for listening to my story. If you enjoy tales of the strange and unsettling, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You never know what might be waiting in the dark.